Throw Away by Rudyard Kipling, F56. Adapted and modified by Kulwant Singh Sandhu. Contents: 1 thrown away, 2 grammar page. 1 thrown away. By Rudyard Kipling. A poem to start. Some horses are stubborn, some jump wildly. Easy now, stand still, we say. Some need kindness, others need a push. There, no one wants to harm you. In every job, there are losses. Some horses break their hearts before they're trained. They fight the ropes and die in pain. Mad and silent in the training yard. Tulangala Stockyard Chorus. The problem with a sheltered life. Raising a boy in a sheltered life, where parents protect him from everything, is not always wise. If he must go out into the world and take care of himself, he will face many troubles. Without experience, he might suffer greatly just because he doesn't understand how the world works. Think of a puppy. If it eats soap or chews a dirty boot, it gets sick. It learns that soap and boots are bad. An older dog might snap at the puppy if it bites its ears. The puppy learns quickly and grows up well-behaved. But if you keep the puppy away from soap, boots, and other dogs until it's grown, it will get very sick or hurt when it finally faces them. This is like a sheltered boy. He needs to learn life's lessons early, or he'll suffer later. There was a boy who was raised this way, and it led to his death. Let me tell you his story. The boy's early life. The boy grew up with his parents, who kept him safe from all trouble. He never caused them worry. A private teacher taught him well, and he did excellently in school. He joined Sandhurst, a famous military school, and almost got the top. Score. At Sandhurst, he saw a bit of the world, like tasting soap or boots, but it didn't teach him much. He left Sandhurst with lower marks than he started. His parents expected great things from him, but he disappointed them. Then he spent a year in a boring army unit, where the young soldiers acted like children, and the older ones complained like grandmothers. Finally, he was sent to India, far from his family. He had to depend on himself, with no one to help him. Life in India. India was a strange place. The narrator explains it like this. You must not take things too seriously in India, except the hot sun at noon. Too much work or energy can kill you, just like too much drinking or bad habits. Love affairs don't matter because people move away quickly. Good work isn't valued because someone else takes credit. Bad work doesn't matter either because others do worse. Fun activities like games are just ways to win money, and you repeat them endlessly. Sickness is normal, and if you die, someone else takes your job within hours. Nothing matters much except going home to England or getting extra pay, which are rare. India feels like a lazy, imperfect place. The smartest thing is to not care too much and leave as soon as you can. But the boy took everything seriously. He was handsome, and people liked him at first. He enjoyed their attention, but worried when women ignored him, even if they weren't important. He loved the exciting life in India, horses, dances, and parties. It was new and fun, like a puppy tasting soap. But he didn't know how to balance things. He expected everyone to treat him as kindly as his parents did, and it hurt him when they didn't. The boy's struggles. The boy argued with other young soldiers. He was very sensitive, so these fights upset him deeply. He liked playing cards and joining horse races, which were meant to be fun after work. But he took them too seriously, just like he got headaches from drinking too much. He lost money in these games because he was new to them. He cared too much about small things, like a cheap horse race, as if it were a big competition. Half of this came from not knowing better, like a puppy fighting with a rug. The other half came from being overwhelmed. He went from a quiet life to a loud, busy one, and it confused him. No one warned him about the dangers, because most people assume you already know. It was sad to watch him struggle, like a young horse falling and hurting itself when it runs free. We thought the hard weather and his losses, money, health, and injured horses would make him calmer. Usually this happens. Most young men learn their lesson. But the boy was different. He was too sensitive and took everything to heart. We didn't know how much he was suffering inside. A cruel comment. His troubles weren't so bad compared to others. He owed money, but he could recover with help. In time, people would forget his mistakes. But he saw things differently. He thought he was ruined forever. His colonel scolded him when the cold season ended, which made him feel worse. It was just a normal warning, but it crushed him. Then something small but terrible happened. A woman said something unkind to him while they talked. It was a thoughtless comment, not worth repeating, but it hurt him deeply. His face turned red, and he felt ashamed. For 3 days he stayed alone. Then he asked for 2 days off to go shooting near a rest house by a canal, about 30 miles away. He got permission and left that night, acting loud and rude at dinner. He said he was going to hunt big game, but everyone laughed because only small birds, like partridges, lived near the rest house. A worried major. The next morning, a major returned from a short trip. He had always cared about the boy and tried to guide him. When he heard about the big game hunting, he got worried. He went to the boy's room and looked around. He found something strange, a revolver and a riding case. The major found me in the dining hall and said, "Does a man go hunting with a revolver and a riding case?" I said, "That's nonsense," but I knew what he feared. He said, "I'm going to the canal now. I'm worried." Then he asked, "Can you keep a secret?" I said, "Yes, it's my job." He told me to get my hunting clothes and gun and come with him to hunt deer. The major was serious, so I followed his orders. We took a small cart called an ekka with guns and food. The major drove fast, pushing the pony hard. We covered 30 miles in less than 3 hours, but the pony was exhausted. I asked, "Why are we hurrying?" He said quietly, "The boy has been alone for 14 hours. I'm scared for him." His fear made me nervous, and I helped urge the pony faster. A tragic discovery. At the rest house, we called for the boy's servant, but no one answered. We shouted the boy's name, but it was silent. I said, "Maybe he's out hunting." Then I saw a small lamp burning inside, even though it was only 4 in the afternoon. We stopped on the porch listening. We heard the buzzing of many flies. The major took off his hat, and we walked in quietly. The boy was dead on a bed in the middle of the plane room. He had shot himself with his revolver. His gun cases and bedding were still packed, and his riding case was on the table. He had died alone, like a trapped animal. The major whispered, "Poor boy, poor boy." Then he said, "I need your help." I knew what he meant. We couldn't tell the truth about the boy's death. I sat at the table, lit a cigarette, and opened the riding case. The major looked over my shoulder, saying, "We were too late, poor boy." The boy had written letters all night, to his parents, his colonel, and a girl in England. Then he shot himself. He had been dead for hours when we arrived. The boy's letters. The letters showed how seriously he took everything. He wrote about shame he couldn't bear, foolish mistakes, and a wasted life. He shared private thoughts with his parents, too personal to share. The letter to the girl was the saddest. It made me choke up. The Major cried openly, and I admired him for not hiding it. The letters were so full of pain and hopelessness that we forgot the boy's mistakes and only felt sorry for him. We knew we couldn't send these letters home. They would break his parents' hearts. The Major said, "We can't do this to his family. What should we do?" I said, "We'll say he died of cholera. We were with him. We have to do this properly." A big lie. We started to create a false story. I wrote a letter saying the boy was a perfect soldier, loved by everyone, with a bright future. I said he got sick with cholera, we cared for him, and he died peacefully. The Major helped with ideas, while he burned the boy's real letters in the fireplace. It was a hot evening, and the lamp flickered. I felt sick writing lies, thinking of the boy's parents reading them. Sometimes I laughed at how strange it was, and the Major said we needed drinks. We drank whiskey, but it didn't affect us. We took the boy's watch, locket, and rings. The Major said, "We need a lock of hair. Mothers value that." But the boy's hair wasn't suitable. Luckily, the Major had dark hair like the boy's. I cut some of his hair and added it to the package. We laughed and choked, knowing the hardest part was coming. We sealed the package with the boy's wax and stamp. Then the Major said, "Let's go outside. I can't stay here." We walked by the canal, eating and drinking, until the moon rose. I felt like a criminal, hiding the truth. We went back to the room. We burned the bed and threw the ashes into the canal. We did the same with the floor mats. I borrowed tools from a nearby village to dig a grave, while the Major handled other tasks. It took 4 hours of hard work. As we dug, we talked about whether to say a prayer. We said the Lord's Prayer, and a quiet one for the boy's soul. Then we filled the grave and slept on the porch, too tired to go inside. The next morning, the Major said, "We can't go back yet. We need to say he died this morning to make it believable." I asked, "Why not take him back to the army base?" He said, "The people ran away because of cholera, and our cart is gone." It was true. The pony had gone home. We stayed all day, checking our story for mistakes. A villager came, but we said a British man died of cholera, and he left quickly. That evening, the Major shared his own stories of feeling lost when he was young. He said young men often think their mistakes are worse than they are. We practiced our story until the moon rose, then walked 10 hours back to the base. The end. We went to the boy's room and put his revolver and riding case back neatly. We told the colonel the boy died of cholera, feeling guilty. Then we slept for a whole day, exhausted. The story worked. People forgot the boy in 2 weeks. Some criticized the Major for not bringing the body back for a proper funeral. The saddest part was a letter from the boy's mother. She thanked us for our kindness and said she'd be grateful forever. She didn't know the truth, but she was right to thank us in a way. 2 grammar page.